Hi everyone. Hi everyone. In today's video, we are going to see Satyajit Ray's Professor Shonku and the UFO. Satyajit Ray was born in 1921 in Calcutta and passed away in 1992. He was truly a multi-talented genius. He is not only a filmmaker but also a writer, music composer, and an illustrator. His debut film Padar Panjali in 1950 won international acclaim at Cannes, and it has put Indian cinema on the world map. And it has the famous Apu trilogy Padar Panjali, Abarajitto, and Apur Sanchar. Uh, the three films together trace the journey of the main character. Over his um, film career, Ray has directed 36 films. Beyond cinema, he created some unforgettable literary characters like Feluda the detective and Professor Shonku, a sci-fi scientist whom we are going to see in this video. And coming to achievements and legacy, Satyajit Ray's contributions were recognized with 32 National Film Awards, the Dada Saheb Phalke Award, and most importantly, India's highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna Award in 1992. In the same year itself, um, he was honored with an honorary Oscar for lifetime achievement. His films often explored the themes of humanism, realism, the clash between tradition and modernity, and he satirizes everyday life and highlights the children's innocence. And he was much appreciated and admired by world filmmakers like Kurosawa, and his films are studied by film industry students worldwide. He is the greatest storyteller who can easily and seamlessly blend art, literature, and cinema. Next, we are going to see about the work Professor and Shonku and the UFO. It was written in 1961. It is the it is one of the most brilliant works of science fiction. Though it was written back in 1961, Ray cleverly sets the events in diary entries from 1967. Um, it just as it as the story is narrated in the form of a diary entry, it gives a sense of realism to the readers. Um, it blends both science fiction and mystery. Um, at the heart of the story, we have Professor Trilokeshwar Shanku, a Bengali scientist who is shortly called as Shanku. His adventures are known worldwide, and the first episode begins with the news about the extraterrestrial beings in India. Sorry, being in not only in India, across the world. And so the mix of diary style narration, scientific curiosity, and suspense makes the story one of Satyajit Ray's timeless creation. The main characters are Professor Shonku, Rodolfo Carboni, an Italian scientist, Shanku's friend Nagur Chandra Biswas, who is having extraordinary psychic power, the German archaeologist Wilhelm Kreul, and the Chinese archaeologist Dr. Sheng, and the most trusted friend of Shanku, Dr. Saunders. And after hearing about the news regarding the appearance of UFO here and there in the newspaper, uh, Shanku was reminded of one particular person, Rodolfo Carboni, whom he met in an international conference in Geneva. Shonku once attended a conference in Geneva that he presented a paper about his contact with the extraterrestrials. They are none but the aliens via radio signals. His paper was much appreciated, and Dr. Rodolfo Carboni, an Italian scientist, met Shonku in Geneva, and he claimed that he has already spoken to beings from Alpha Centauri, uh, another galaxy where people like aliens will be there. And Shanku was very much skeptical about his paper, and without saying anything, he left the meet. And here Ray sets up the tension by introducing the protagonist and the antagonist, or he plants the seed of mystery to the story. Is Carboni truly in touch with aliens, or is there any something more troubling behind his contact with those aliens, or is there any secrecy behind the UFO now Shonku is referring to? And after meeting Carboni, he got a letter from his friend Saunders, which narrated Carboni's past. Originally, Rodolfo Carboni was a promising architect in Turin, and his design his design for a stadium was rejected after a dangerous crack appeared in the building, and it ruined both his career and reputation. And instead of humility he carried resentment and a thirst for revenge. He disappeared for many years, and after a few years he resurfaced, not as an architect but as a physicist. He attempted suicide also, but he became bitter, powermonger, and vengeful. Shonku, out of sympathy, offered to stop his own work to help Carboni, and he wrote it to him also, but he received no reply from him. And this highlights Shonku's compassion. Here, Ray highlights um, the clash between Shonku's good nature versus Carboni's destructive pride when both are great scientists. And next, we are going to see about Nakur Babu's powers. Um, Professor Nakur Babu, though appears simple and ordinary, he possesses extraordinary psychic powers, telepathy, clairvoyance, and even the ability to project visions for others. Shankur respects him much uh, because Nagur once has saved his life in Brazil, and there was a demonstration of his power, Nagur's power, now to Professor Shanku. He projects an image of an ancient 11th century Chinese water clock. It was an invention which was last long time, but he has studied about this in books, and he has created it in front of Shonku's eyes. Shonku not only sees it, but he realizes the historical accuracy of his vision. So Nakur warns later on after this vision, Nakur warns Shonku of the future danger, a grave danger, even in imprisonment. This was the first thing he wants to convey to Shonku, and the second thing is he has seen another vision of a UFO in a desert near some snowy mountains, and most of the times his predictions, his visions have been a crucial guide for Shonku to uh, discover or investigate anything. So here also he believed that this time this will definitely be a good critical guide for Shonku to discover the UFO. And next we are going to see the global destructions that have recently happened, um, and which shook the entire world. On 25th September, the Parthenon in Athens was destroyed, and on 5th October, both the Eiffel Tower and the Angkor Wat got collapsed, and everybody is chasing after who will be begin these disasters, as the appearance of a UFO gives a clue that it may be the aliens. And at the same time, Shonku receives a letter from Wilhelm Kroll. He is an archaeologist, German archaeologist, working in the Taklamakan Desert in the borders of China, where they are seeking for the Buddhist monastery. And he has witnessed the UFO twice near the place where he was working. It was Khotan, and he invited Shonku, the great scientist of the world, to investigate about the UFO. And Kroll also has suggested to seek the help of Saunders, Dr. Saunders, Shonku's friend. And Shonku wants to have Nakur Babu also to join the mission. So he writes to him. On his arrival, Nakur Babu met with a small accident in the just he hit his head in a steel luggage box, and Shonku has a fear that he might have lost his visionary or psychic ability. So he treats him with the medicine cerebrilliant to energize him, and it definitely restores his strength also. Now all these friends of Shonku and the German archaeologist, along with the Chinese archaeologist Dr. Sheng, um, boarded the helicopter and reached the Taklamakan Desert, where they kept camp to see the UFO. Um, Chinese government itself has helped him to stop the monuments, because they valued their monuments much. That's why they are carrying out the archaeological work also for the discovery of Buddhist monastery. On October 10th, they saw the UFO landing on near their camp, and they entered into the spacecraft. They were astonished by its advanced design with too many buttons, doors, ladder, and everything. And next day morning, they heard an unseen voice inside the spacecraft, welcoming them, ordering them, and describing them. And on their surprise, uh, the commanding voice ordered them to drop their weapon, and immediately when they disobey, all of them were immobilized. And Satyajit Ray created some tension, and by describing the um, entire spacecraft as well as the um, helpless condition of the scientists. And even the weapon annealing gun which was made by uh, Ralph, sorry, Shonku to protect them from the hostile aliens were also thrown away. So the heroes are inside the aliens' control or some unseen power inside the spacecraft. They are now powerless, and now they see the face of the uh, voice. He is none the true culprit. He is none but Rodolfo Carboni. He proudly explains his actions. Years ago, three aliens from Alpha Centauri landed on Earth, and he knew about their visit because he has already contacted them, communicated with them using some mathematical science, and he welcomed them. They came here in order to have some friendship with the human beings, earthlings. But this Harboni um, secretly had a communication with them and learned all their technology. When they got affected with influenza without helping them to cure by giving them the medicine, the Dr. Carboni, Rodolfo Carboni, uh, left them die, and he buried them, their bodies in the desert itself, and kept the ship for himself. And he confessed this story, uh, which shows the human arrogance. The aliens offered friendship, but this Carboni chose betrayal for the sake of his ego and pride, and he misused the power, and he decided to take revenge upon the Italian uh, architects or bureaucrats who made him lose his job, fame, and everything. And he said that he wanted to take revenge, so he destroyed the monuments built by the humans. By erasing the world's greatest monuments, he wants to uh, emphasize his power over the corrupt officials in Italy. In front of Shonku's eyes itself, he destroyed Saint Peter's Basilica in Rome. So it proves that it shows that he has taken the space shift to Italy along with the scientists. And we must here note down that before the death of the aliens, they have taught him how to operate the spacecraft. And here next, after Basilica, he challenged Shanku that he is going to destroy Taj Mahal. So Ray wants to highlight the dangers of technology if it is in the wrong hands. It may turn into a weapon of destruction. And now here we can see Nagur Babu's role in saving Taj Mahal. Uh, when Carboni was about to fire, and while the spacecraft hovers over Agra, suddenly Nagur Babu uh, makes a vision in which instead of the real Mahal, Taj Mahal, they have seen only the half-built uh, building in surrounded by the scaffolds, just as it was in the 17th century. The workers, laborers were carrying the marbles to build the Taj Mahal. And this vision confused Carboni because he doesn't know about the power of Nagur Babu. the historical details were very much clear. Nakur Babu has already read 7 years the French traveler's account on the construction of Taj Mahal. So the details were so clean, and Carboni could not destroy the monument, and it made him place it. It created a space for Shonku and others to work on, and this brilliant use of human imagination and psychic strength to act as a counteract against technology was later on much appreciated by the scientists themselves. And here, uh, using the small gap when Rodolfo lost his stability, Shonku and others uh, pulled him as he has the weapon, uh, fatal weapon to kill the scientist. He accidentally pressed a yellow switch through which a transparent robo with 6 fingers appears, and without knowing that it is Carboni or something else, it catches Carboni and strangles him within a half a minute. Rodolfo Carboni falls down without a breath. And later on, the robot dropping them near the camp, it pilots the ship away from Earth. And luckily, Shonku and his companions safely escape at the end. As the rocket departs, it created a blast um, and a crater, which reveals a hidden Buddhist monastery in the desert, which Dr. Sheng and his team were searching for. So finally, Ray concludes the story with the discovery of the monastery, which could at least balance the destruction of three highest, greatest, world's greatest monuments built by men. And so, the coming to the theme and message of the novella, the story is not about an alien invasion. It is purely about the human weakness. Carboni's pride and bitterness lead his lead lead him to his downfall. And Ray reminds everyone that knowledge is a responsibility and it can never serve as a weapon for revenge. Through through Sanku's compassion, Nakur Babu's wisdom, and the teamwork, at last humanity is saved. So the themes are very clear: science versus pride, the dangers of abusive power, and the importance of wisdom and teamwork. That's why Professor Shango and the UFO remains one of Ray's most powerful science fiction adventures, mixing suspense with a profound moral lesson. Thank you one and all for your patient listening.